Hey y'all, I'm Jay. I'm a voice and songwriting teacher, and today I'm going to be taking a look at Angelina Jordan singing My Funny Valentine. And I'm excited for this one because this is actually the first song that I learned with my voice teacher back when I started lessons like forever ago. So it has a special place in my heart. So I'm excited. Let's get into it. Oh, that's pretty. I like the piano.
My funny Valentine,
Hmm.
sweet comic Valentine, you make me smile with my heart.
Very pretty. Yes. She sounds good.
You look so laughable, unphotographable, yet you're my favorite work of art. Is your figure less than Greek? Is your mouth a little weak when you open it to speak?
I
Are
love that.
you smart? But don't change your hair for me.
Okay, Rick.
And not if you care for me. Stay, little Valentine. Stay. Each day is Valentine's Day.
I love this. This actually sounds like if Billie Holiday were to it sounds like a weird mixture of like Billie Holiday with Lana Del Rey type of production behind it, if that makes sense at all. It's the vocal delivery. I can tell. A lot of people attribute that kind of that kind of sound to like Amy Winehouse, but if you go back and look at Billie Holiday and a lot of other jazz singers from that era, they kind of all sang a lot of their vowels that way, because it was very brassy at the time. So they were kind of trying to match the tone of their band so that their unit could feel really cohesive. So that's a very jazzy thing there to have that kind of sound, so to speak. She's also doing a lot of little like slides and lilts, which is very common of the jazz genre. If you do that anywhere else, it sounds kind of weird, but with this type of genre, it works perfectly. It's actually kind of expected. So I love the choices that she's making. I even love that she's still making it her own though, with like that cool little riff that she added there. Typically in jazz, when it comes to improvisation, they're not super into riffs. They're more so into like changing the melody. So I'm glad that she still like took liberties with it anyway, because at the end of the day, I feel like your version of that song should be your version of that song. You should be able to do whatever, artistically speaks to you on a vocal level. As long as it makes sense on just like an artistic level and doesn't take away from the song, then I say why not go for it. And I mean, she sounds excellent doing it. This is a pretty video. I wonder where they shot this. It looks like an antique store or furniture store, but it matches the vibe.
Is your figure less than Greek? Is your mouth a little weak when you open it to speak?
There's
Are
a little
you
slide.
smart? But don't change your hair from me, and not if you care for me.
Oh, I love that change.
Stay, little Valentine. Stay. Each day is Valentine's Day.
Very pretty. Oh, I'm getting emotional. I don't know why. I just like I said, I love that song so much, and I think she did such a good job with it. And it's just something about like these classic jazz songs from like Rogers and Hart. It's like, there's never gonna be composers like that anymore. That I mean, ah, that was that was so good. And it was very like simple too. Like she could have taken that into like a million other directions, but I'm really pleased with the choices that she made. It was very like subtle, and she expressed herself with the riffs and like unique choices when we got to like new parts of the song. So it made more sense. She brought more variety to some of the sections we had heard before, because the song repeats certain sections. Uh, that was lovely. All right, everyone. So that was my reaction to Angelina Jordan singing My Funny Valentine. And like I mentioned, I loved it. Like, this wasn't like the biggest or flashiest performance that I've seen from even her, but in a way, I feel like that is kind of what made it resonate with me even more. There is something to be said about restraint when it comes to singing. I feel like nowadays people are so focused on belting, 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 and just like screaming things at the top of their lungs and, riffing until the cows come home. And like, yeah, that stuff has its place. Don't get me wrong. I love that kind of singing too. It has its place. But you have to understand like what you're talking about. Like, this is a very sincere song, that genuinely feels like a plea of sorts. So I just don't feel like it would make sense to sing a song like this in that type of way. So I was very impressed with the level of restraint and class and taste that she showed with all of the choices that she made. And I love that she is keeping it in a very, very traditional jazz approach and style. Aside from like a couple of the riffs, which aren't, it's not like the weirdest thing in jazz. It's just like usually not how they approach improvisation. But even then, she changed the melody quite a few times, which actually is a big part of how jazz players approach improvisation and changing new sections of a song. She did some really interesting things there towards the latter half of the song that kind of repeats that B section, so to speak. Um, I mean, there's not much else to say about it. I mean, it was just simple, tasteful, classy. This is the type of performance I would expect to hear from somebody in like their mid 20s, early 30s, just because it is so restrained, and it feels very authentic. I'm very impressed with how she seems to really do her research before she does a cover. I feel like a lot of the times that we see singers do a cover, it's like, I'm just going to do it my way and add a bunch of riffs on top of it, and just that'll be fine, right? Like, I don't need to actually change that much to it. But with her, with the two covers that I've seen so far, with this one and the uh, I Put a Spell on You, the Jay Screamin' Hawkins cover, that one felt very much like a tribute to him, with just like her style still integrated in there. But I can tell that she studied his techniques and his way of approaching that song and his kind of emotional intent behind it as well. Whereas I can tell, like, here she really did her research with the jazz stylings and how this song would traditionally be done by somebody like a Billie Holiday, somebody of that era, but it still had like her twist to it as well. So it didn't feel like a generic copy of the song either, which I find to be very, very impressive. And I think that that's definitely to be commended. You're not just she didn't just do her a cover, she made it her own, and she also still paid tribute to singers of the past, which I think is, I mean, I think that's so underrated, to kind of pay respects in your art very directly to the people that influenced you and to the people that are still influencing others decades and decades later. I really appreciate that. I think that should be commended, and that's very respectable. So I was very impressed by that performance. I'm very impressed by her choices, very impressed by her inspirations and the way that she chose to pay tribute to them. Like I said, this is a very classy song. This is Rogers and Hart. It doesn't get classier than that or more classic. And with standards like this, you don't need to change that much. The songs here are already kind of sing themselves, so to speak. There's only so much you can do, and yet Angelina still managed to add her special little magic touch to it anyway, which was very lovely. I enjoyed this one very much. All right, everyone. So that was my reaction to Angelina Jordan's lovely version of My Funny Valentine. Thank you all so much for requesting that one. I got like a couple requests for it, and I'm very happy that I took a look at it because this, like I mentioned, this is a song that, was a huge part of my musical journey growing up as a vocalist. It taught me a lot as I was working with my first teachers. Shout out to Russell Penny. But yeah, I was really impressed by that. I thought it was lovely and very classy. So I'm eager to keep listening to more of Angelina's covers and maybe some of her originals as well. I know you all have recommended those, but as always, let me know who else I should react to as well. What other songs? I love taking a look at things that I haven't reacted to or even heard about, because then I can give you all a genuine reaction, which is what I kind of want for the channel itself. I don't want to like fake my reactions or be super over the top. That's just like not my personality. I want to give more of a actual analysis as to what's going on artistically from like a music standpoint. So anybody outside of like the US or UK, I have a little bit of a blind spot for that I'm still exploring. So please feel free to leave me your recommendations. And as always, if you enjoyed watching this and enjoyed something I said along the way, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. It genuinely does help. Thanks.